Hello and welcome to Going 19, episode 14. Today we continue our discussion on the second half of Stephen King's 11/22/63, Part 4, titled Sadie and the General, chapters 18 to 21. I am Ed. With me are Kirsten and Amber. Let's start the show.
Oh, so this real quick, this kind of maybe this is where I got this idea from. So 499, the first sentence where it says Demoran Shields preaching and shirt-ripping antics, not so very different from the tent show shenanigans of the right-wing evangelist he reviled, were deeply troubling to me. And that's the impression that I get from him is he's a showman. He's meant to make you feel what he wants you to feel. So it makes sense that you would agree with the things that he's saying or the things that he's feeding to Lee.
Well,
he definitely incites Lee, that is for sure.
I think he revs him up, maybe not to any certain purpose, but just in general.
No, yeah, just in general. He definitely is it's like Lee is kind of this smoldering fire and he's just pouring gasoline all over it and lighting a match just to make it go.
I highlighted that part just for you because that made me think of Revival.
The
tent show shenanigans of the right-wing evangelist.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
He rips his shirt open and does this whole.
Yeah, and he's not like he's in shape or anything. Didn't they say
weird.
flabby boobs or something?
Yeah, it's weird. It's very weird. Especially for that time period, I feel like people didn't do that kind. His skin was the color of oiled mahogany. Fatty breasts hung on old muscle. Why? Why are you ripping your shirt open in the middle of the street?
That means he was tan.
He's very tan.
I also
almost like Italian tan, super super dark like that.
I have a post-it note actually on this page because I did not understand that reference at all for the blindness dropped from his eyes. So I had to learn a whole Catholic lesson.
Where are you at?
The bottom of that page, 498, Paul of Tarsus.
Oh, really?
Paul of Tarsus on the Damascus Road, he'd had a revelation. The blindness had dropped from his eyes.
That's St. Paul. He went around preaching the Bible and he was Saul until he got stricken blind on the road to Damascus, and
he was a heretic.
He declared his love or loyalty to God, and God wiped away the gook from his eyes, and he could see again. But now he's Paul, and he's not Saul. That's a classic.
Now he's Paul, not Saul.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way. I didn't make that shit up. That's the way that.
No, I know. It sounds.
He doesn't usually throw in biblical references like that too. I was like, okay.
That's two of them right back to back, huh?
Yeah.
Back to back. Yeah, he's generally anti-religion. I don't know if he's anti-God necessarily, but he's definitely anti-religion.
What is lay doth mean?
What is laid up? What's the Greek chorus? The Jump Rope Girls in my Greek chorus.
I looked that up too. Hold on, wait. A non-individualized group of performers who comment with a collective voice on dramatic action.
So, it's kind of like in Hercules,
exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Those ladies that are like, ooh.
Like the two guys in the balcony in the Muppets.
Yeah.
Well,
the
commentators.
The peanut gallery. That's the Greek chorus.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
All right. So, are we up to the suicidal event?
I'm getting there. So it's just Lee and Marina moving and her leaving him and her coming back and Mom following them. And that's about the end of that. Then he does the whole Bay of Pigs thing. Okay, 507 is the whole standoff with, or the beginning of the standoff, and then Kennedy's on the TV.
Real quick, at 505 at the top, I highlighted this where it says, none of them knew about the harmonic effect, which I seem to be creating myself just by my presence in the land of ago. And then that being the case, who would be to blame if something happened to Sadie? Which obviously foreshadowing, but it's like, this is why I'm so confused. Like, he's like, it's the past harmonizing itself, but actually I'm creating it, but actually it's object. And it's like, okay, are there forces working against you, or are you doing this, or is it like fate? Like, it just seems like he keeps making things up as he goes along.
I don't think he knows. He says, I seem to be creating myself. I guess so. He's guessing. Like, it seems like this is happening just because I'm here. Like,
so that's not a harmonic effect. That's you rewriting history. It's just
maybe not. I'm not. I don't know. I don't think he knows the answer, and I don't think I know the answer to that. It's like, does the white top Chevrolet keep showing up because he's there, or would it have done that anyway?
It kept showing up because that was Clayton stalking them.
Well, that's a bad example. There's other shit that he sees, and it's like, is that because of him? I mean, well, okay. I think Clayton would have showed up whether he was there or not. It just was a lot worse because he was there, because I think he would have came looking for his wife.
Sadie may not have been with anyone else if Jake wasn't there.
I'm saying he would have came looking for her whether she was someone else or not. I don't think that was just icing on the cake when he found that out. He was coming looking for her with or without Jake. Like I said, he was following them for a long time before we got to that. So he was stalking her, and I think found out about him is what happened.
Yeah, but I mean, it would mean nothing to Jake if he didn't know Sadie, though. Like, what would have been a threat there? Like, why does he care so much about Jake?
I'm not sure I'm not even sure what the hell we're trying to say at this point.
Like, why? He's using Sadie to get to Jake, but why? Or George?
No, he's just killing one of them because he's pissed. He's not using her to get to him. Well, I guess he kind of is, and my answer to that would be because he wants to kill her man and not him. Maybe he never really planned on killing anybody. I'm not sure. Like, why didn't he just walk in and kill Sadie and then kill himself? Because that's usually the way that goes, right? You don't wait for someone else to show up.
I don't remember the exact timeline, but I kind of thought that he had found out, like, I assumed it was because he had found out she was seeing Jake that set him off. But I mean, you could be right, so I don't know. It's confusing.
I think he was already set off, but to a point. But I think that put him over the top when he found out she was doing someone else. Like, he was coming looking for his wife.
I agree.
Not knowing that Jake existed in the world, and then when he found out, they're like, "Oh shit! No, hell no, that's not going to happen."
Yeah, actually, you're right, because he said he was pissed that she's got him sent away. Which I'm like, did we know that? Did she disclose that before?
I don't know that that's true, and it wasn't Sadie.
He blamed her, but
it wasn't Sadie he was talking about. I don't think.
It was, and it wasn't at the same time.
Somebody at work that he did something to, and they had him sent away.
But he was claiming that, like, Sadie is part of what, like, pushed him to do that.
Well, he was blaming Sadie for what he did with the other kid.
Exactly.
Somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't really follow that, and I didn't care because he was crazy.
He was definitely crazy.
She had a yellow VW Beetle, which my parents had in 1973.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like everybody had a yellow Beetle at the time.
Really?
And I equate that to Corvettes. Like, if you want to buy one of them, why are you buying a yellow one? It's like your last choice.
My dad loved yellow.
Everybody did in the 70s.
Really?
Well, they all had yellow Beetles and Corvettes, so I want to say that.
And bugs. I mean, what's the van?
The Nimnabus.
The VW ones?
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting one of them for my concerts. I'm going to concerts in a VW camper from now on.
Oh my gosh.
Some of them are stupidly expensive, though.
I've heard that because they're rare, because they don't make them anymore.
Okay, so is that true? I think they brought them back actually recently.
Did they?
But they're not any cheaper than the old ones, dude, because they're new and they got all the fancy bells and whistles. I may end up doing that.
Anyhow,
I have to make sure concert seasons are back for good before I start wearing them. Jake. takes off for Sadie's house. What sent him there?
He, for some reason, he tried calling her and she didn't answer, and I don't remember why he thought
He's
to call
watching
her.
Kennedy talk about the Bay of Pigs,
And he gets a
standoff
bad
in Cuba.
feeling.
And
He was at the bar.
A
I
man
guess he didn't.
standing by the what?
Sorry, go ahead.
A man standing by the pool table shouted, "Bomb the living shit out of commie cocksuckers right now. Don't wait." It's almost like he took the "don't wait" as a sign.
It's at the bottom of 506. Oh wait, yeah. No, wait, that was before that. I'm sorry.
Sadie, that's right where Sadie didn't answer.
Yeah.
And because she didn't answer, the phone rang, and I didn't like it.
That's what I'm saying. He just had a bad feeling.
Where was she at 8:30 on a Monday night at the movies? I didn't believe it. So, I mean, it is the 60s, so, like, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, when I was reading this, I mean, obviously, we didn't go through this, so I kind of forgot what a, terrifying moment it must have been. So it was kind of shocking to me to see all these people at the bar, and especially, we know that it's okay, so it's a lot different. So maybe he was having the same thought, like, she's watching this, she's got to be thinking the same thing, like, I gotta help her.
I think we can't emphasize enough what a big deal that was at the time. I've heard a lot about it.
Imagine 9/11 happening. Like, that was kind of the...
Yeah, but 9/11 was a big surprise. Imagine knowing it was coming.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
And watching it build up and build up. Like, they were convinced that this was going to start a nuclear war and it was going to be all out Armageddon. It was going to be the end of the fucking world. Like, everybody believed that. Like, Johnny Clayton's not an anomaly. He's the way most people thought. He just took it a little further than most people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why reading this, I'm like, why are these people so, like, they're taking it like such a big deal? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. They don't know that it doesn't happen. It was
a big deal, yeah.
Like,
it was.
I mean, that's exactly what Jake says too.
It was us against Russia. It was the two big powers in the world standing off against each other. So everybody was glued to the TV. Yeah, it would be like, if we knew 9/11 was coming and just watching it get closer and closer.
We did, but that's another story. Anyway.
I mean, okay, we can get picky on all that, but it was basically a big surprise.
Yeah. Well, and it would have been a lot more devastating than 9/11. No offense, but.
Oh well, yeah, the world would have pretty much ended.
Yeah.
Because you can't use just one bomb. So he takes off for like potato chips. Can't use just one. Insert ad here. So I guess like he makes these jumps that I just don't follow and I don't see. I still think he overreacted with Johnny Clayton because I don't think he has any reason.
He didn't though.
Other than it ends up that way, but based on the information that he had at the time. Because that's some douche.
The past harmonizers.
Douche shit Moxina there.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm just going to make him not overreact to make this actually happen.
I especially thought he was overreacting. I was like, it's not going to happen. It's going to be something else. And I'm like, no way. I'm not buying it. Like,
it's like the broom. Like, that was it? What?
Yeah.
I thought that broom was going in all kind of places.
Yeah. That was
metaphorically
terrifying.
It is.
So, and again, I think he overreacts. Like, she's like, I had a couple pills to go to sleep and I had a drink because it wasn't working. Why does he think she's
committing suicide?
Even if he did, not overtly. So she didn't do it on purpose. So what is he all?
I mean, it does look bad coming into that situation. It doesn't look good.
But what is he all freaked out about?
Because he loves her.
No.
He doesn't want her to die.
It's because of Kristen.
I mean, it doesn't help the situation, but if I walked in...
Because he watched her do that. He walked in and she was passed out on a big deal.
If I walked in and my significant other was passed out on a bed, I could not wake them up. I saw booze and I saw pill bottles spilled with pills everywhere. I would freak out.
You didn't even try to wake her up. You just started smacking her around.
Yes, exactly. And she wasn't waking up. He started smacking her around because he tried to shake her. She wasn't waking up.
Pills, man. She's supposed to be fucking sleeping.
But that's the issue. Like, you don't
She
know.
finally got to sleep, and he comes and wakes her ass up.
I'm just saying, I'd be freaking out too. I don't blame him.
I would say you have a lower freak out barometer than I do.
I mean, I think it's understandable. I do think.
I guess once he gets there, it's understandable. But the reason he took off, I don't know. I just think it's
especially given the context, the fact that he's already worried that something could happen. That, like, I honestly thought somebody had attacked her. Like, that's what was going on. And then, like, you know, again, you see that and you put everything. You already think something's going wrong. Like, it's very easy to jump to suicide.
Yeah, he, like I said, he just makes these logic jumps that I don't necessarily follow along.
Yeah, but he's super smart, so, you know.
Stephen King or Jake?
Jake.
Look, I even wrote over here and said, overreact much?
Everybody remember, Jake is stupid now.
Yeah.
Remember, we established that previously.
I mean, she doesn't... Okay. He said she did not appear to be breathing, and then she took a rattly breath and then didn't breathe for 4 seconds, so maybe there's a little bit there, but it just...
And you just saw...
And then when she wakes up, she starts waking up, I don't know. Like, I'd be mad if you fucking dumped me in the shower because I took those goddamn sleeping pills and a half a fucking glass of scotch.
That can kill you.
Not that little. It was only Nembutal. She took like 3 or 4.
You're a pharmacist now? You're an expert?
I'm a former drug addict.
Okay, maybe that's why. I am not, so that would freak me out.
Can't say I've done Nembutal, but there's a lot stronger things than that. It's just over-the-counter sleeping. It's like taking a melatonin.
Nembutal?
Pretty sure.
I don't really know that one off the top.
Yeah, tell me what it says.
No.
And like most of the pills were still in the bottle, so she didn't take a bunch of it.
It says controlled substance.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm wrong. You're thinking of something else?
It can treat tension, anxiety, nervousness, and trouble falling asleep, insomnia. Can help patients relax before surgery or medical procedures. In addition, it can treat epilepsy and other seizures. Controlled substance can cause paranoia or suicidal ideation and impair memory, judgment, and coordination. Combining with other substances, particularly alcohol, can slow breathing and possibly lead to death.
Yeah, but you'd have to take a lot of alcohol.
You remember what she drank?
Yes, he did. It was right there. She had a half-empty glass and a full bottle.
No.
I still say he's overreacting.
I don't think he is. I'd be freaking out too.
You're like opposite point to that.
I don't remember how she reacts, but she doesn't.
Maybe it's perspective. Maybe I've just been around it more.
A couple of
give it more leeway before I
also work in an industry where you take that stuff very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I work at a hospital.
In IT, it's not the same thing as working in a mental health.
I see dead people all the time.
Okay, but after they're already dead.
I mean, she moves on from it.
That's what makes them dead people.
My God. Okay.
Like, he even says, if you expect me to apologize, you'll wait a long time. Barbiturates and booze are a bad combination.
Yeah, and that's because of his wife. Because I would have expected him to apologize. You didn't have to throw me in a goddamn cold fucking shower with like 3 pills and fucking 2 swigs. But I mean, I guess
everybody's body reacts differently to that stuff.
I guess I'm doing it from a perspective where it's a normal world, like. And
that's my point. It's not like normal people would react to that.
No, you took that. No, I'm normal. That's not what I meant. I meant he's got the past being obdurate, the past harmonizing, these things going on that make every situation possibly, I guess, worse than it was. So maybe he's freaking out, but maybe he's justified in freaking out because he's not freaked out before and shit's gone wrong.
I want to know.
That's true.
I want to know, like, I'm very, very curious after all of this stuff that happens in the last, like, however many pages of this, 100 pages or so. I'm very curious, like, if Jake had not climbed through the rabbit hole, what Sadie's trajectory would have been.
Well, that's kind of what we were talking about before. Like, Clayton would have probably still come after her, so maybe he would have just killed her.
Clayton was coming for her not knowing Jake lived. Or
what if she would have died from this? Like, I feel like Sadie definitely would not have lived if it wasn't for Jake.
Well, that's true, too.
Through both of these events?
I don't know. Clayton would have been that mad because she wouldn't have been doing anybody. Maybe she would have been doing somebody else. Huh?
I don't know. I feel like he was already on, like, a pin. Like, he just needs, like, and he was...
I think he was on a pin, and it was mostly because of her, but I think Jake is what toppled it.
But I think if it wouldn't have been Jake, it would have been something else.
Maybe.
Because she was in Reno dating that other guy. So, like, because I think part of what pushed him over the edge was the being affiliated or associated with someone who is, like, impure and unclean. Like, because he's like, how dare you? Like,
everybody's unclean.
But I'm saying him, remember, he wouldn't even have sex with her and she was his wife.
He thinks everybody's unclean. Doesn't matter who it is.
But I know, but, like, he was married to her and she was having sex with someone else. So, and right. He didn't even want to have sex with her. So I think that, like,
set him over the edge.
Yeah, but I'm saying if she wouldn't have been with Jake, it probably would have been someone else.
She would have been with someone else?
Yeah.
So she's a little hussy.
No, but the reason she wasn't with that guy from Reno, the reason she didn't pursue him and didn't want to date him is because she still had feelings for Jake or George.
She was just a librarian. Who was she to stand at the foot of
greatness?
Maybe.
I think he would have been pushed over the... I think when somebody is that unstable, it doesn't, like, there's always going to be a precipitating event, but, like, if it wasn't that, it would have been something else. Like,
I think I know how unstable he is. He didn't really... He's a lot worse than he was made out to be.
Yeah, he's pretty unstable.
Yeah, but was that a flashpoint, or is that just how he lives his life? Like, is he always... I mean, he's got severe OCD, but that doesn't make you crazy.
Right, I didn't realize he was in an institution. Like, that's where I was like,
yeah,
whoa.
When did that happen? So, did she even know that? No, I guess she didn't.
I was going to say, I don't think so. I didn't get that impression.
I can't say that fucking word. Statistical analysis doesn't lie.
I think that...
Look, I only took a couple shots when the pills didn't work. I think I tried to tell you that when you were shaking and slapping me. I'm with her.
Yeah, but she moves on from it right away. So.
And then he says, "I had been angry too." He was doing a little domestic violence himself there.
Oh my gosh, that is not the same thing.
Well, he was slapping her, and he was thinking of his ex-wife. Well,
really running away with this here.
It's there's a reason I highlighted it. You slapping her. He says had I been angry as well as he was slapping her because he was angry at her. But he was really angry at his wife. That hadn't happened for another 50 years. I know an attitude when I get one.
I just said,
yeah, that's all it took. So he gets. I mean, don't they end up?
I think it's pretty messed up that he sends her those pictures. Like, that should have been a red flag right there.
That's the second time, right?
I thought
the manila envelope was there before. This is new pictures.
Not that I recalled, but
is that the same set of pictures?
I thought it. Yeah, he saw the envelope when he walked in the door, but he didn't look at it until afterward, like until he was.
No, like 100 pages ago, she had an envelope said when she. No, maybe I'm thinking of the applications.
Yeah, I don't.
When he saw her name.
The first time pictures show up, and then
that's that I remember. I don't.
I guess it would have to be, otherwise they would have known that he was coming for her. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'm confusing my manila envelopes.
But that's the thing, like. Jake warns everybody so many times, and she gets these extremely graphic and gruesome pictures of people, like,
Yeah, the first one's like a woman with her face fucking blown off.
yeah, like, you don't think that that's a red flag? Like, okay, this is weird. Why is my ex-husband? First of all, he obviously knows where you live if he sent them there. Second of all, why is he sending me these pictures of people with their faces blown off?
It's passive aggressive. It's not confrontational.
But it's weird. Like, that would freak me out.
Up to the point that he shows up at their house, I was with them. He was more passive aggressive from what they were doing.
I'm not taking any chances. He sounded like a crazy person.
Everyone does kind of dismiss him out of hand, and George just being the sore loser. But
I think they're both kind of like this. Like, I think he is overreacting, but I think they're underreacting. I think that there was a middle ground that they could have came to.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. I think they should have paid a little more attention. Obviously, now they should have. We know that, but Deke says that.
And I think Jake needed to take a breath.
Saw him in his car, and he just didn't think nothing. And they pass each other. I saw the thing in the... He didn't say all that.
Yes, he did.
So you saw.
They talk to each other. They pass each other coming in and out of that store.
Right. Not everyone knows that. And what does he say? Is that recessed temple or something?
Yeah, the forceps. Remember they talk about from pulling him out?
Okay. Forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
So, subsidy income.
Yeah.
So is that like a common thing up until
they realized
not that long ago? Like the forceps. There are a bunch of people like walking around with indebted foreheads in the 1950s.
Maybe.
I'm kind of glad I was born when I was. Just after that part. Are you from the future, George? Are you human?
Yeah, she's like, are you from the planet Earth?
Yeah. Here's the question. She's gonna ask it. Are you from the future? She's like, are you human? Like from planet Earth? Well, this is when B sci-fi movies, horror movies, kind of.
I know, it just cracked me up.
Started at the time. The what's the one? The Keanu Reeves, The Day the Earth Stood Still, I think, came out around now, where the aliens come from another planet and judge the human race and tell them they suck and they're here to save the planet, so the humans got to go. And they remade it, with Keanu Reeves, and it was pretty bad. Women are better at keeping secrets, but men are more comfortable with them.
I probably agree with that.
I'm not sure I understand. Wouldn't that make women better at keeping them if they're more? Wouldn't that make men better at keeping them if they're more comfortable with them?
Not necessarily, no.
So women will keep the secret, but men enjoy it more?
I think meaning they're more comfortable with whatever the secret is.
Oh, so like it's not eating them up inside. They have to tell somebody. They're just like, yeah. But then again, women are better at not telling somebody. Yeah, I don't.
Meaning, I more see it as like the women might not tell someone, but they might judge you more for it than a man would.
That's probably, I'm gonna say, definitely true.
Probably definitely true.
Yeah, probably definitely.
Yeah, they probably definitely.
And now, George and Ellie, fucking Deke and Ellie are showing up for dinner unannounced. And oh no, wait, this is the school. She calls her in there. Do you think this is a good idea? Do you know what you're doing, sleeping with this guy?
Yeah, she's very in her business.
Yeah, she says, I thought you liked George.
Like, you guys are at work, you're her boss, and you're calling her into your office
out of the
in the middle of the in the middle of the day, excuse me, to be like, hey, let's talk about your personal life.
You kids read chapter 4. I'll be right back. I gotta tell the principal I don't have a section.
Yeah. Kind of weird.
He saved my life. Is that literal? What's that supposed to mean? That I love him? That he saved my life? That all I have to give him in return is my trust, and I intend to give it?
Where? Oh, I see it now. 524.
Mm-hmm.
Did he save her life, or did she mean that because they fell in love?
I don't know.
I don't remember an actual life-saving event, at least not yet.
Well,
suicide.
I didn't know if she meant like what just happened,
I
Yeah.
don't think
or if she meant it in a more figurative
I
way.
think it's figurative. I don't think she sees that situation as she was about to die without Jake. George,
Mhm.
whoever the fuck he is. He's about to become Jake for good. So.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
You're gonna leave George behind. Oh, I guess he's still gonna be George to everybody else. That's why then Alex, she screams on the phone, Jacob, don't do
I
it.
was gonna say it's a good save. She's like, oh, it's his middle name.
He says that. Oh, that's my middle name. Let's get back to you being a bastard. I think it's funny that they have to sneak off to some bungalow to have sex.
Well, it
Can't
is the
can't
1960s.
can't park your car in the driveway. But then
She lets him.
then she's like, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, I'll just tell him you're heartbroken. He's like, yeah.
Well, you couldn't have done that before.
Well, he said the car was older then, and it was like right after that he ends up getting a new one because it does actually like
Do
totally
you
break down.
know? Yes.
By the way,
What car does he get? Amber?
No, I don't know.
It's a Chevrolet, isn't it?
No.
It's not.
It's a 58 Plymouth Fury, which
Mm.
There was a lot about cars, and that's what I was actually just going to say. What is
Isn't
the
that a fake
whole,
one?
like, did anybody get the whole like why he talks about them so much in the two tones? Like, oh, it was another one that was two tone.
because fucking what's the name was driving that car? It was the same color as the one he slaps when he comes out of the rabbit hole. Like, whoa, I'm really here. And then fucking Johnny Clayton was driving the same exact car, as it turned out. He kept noticing it because it was the same colors as that one, and it was he just goes. That's what I was saying earlier. He's just like, oh, the past is harmonized. It's the same color car.
Mhm.
No, maybe you should actually pay attention to what that shit, because that was Johnny Clayton stalking him.
Right.
That's why he's dealing with. But my point is, 58 Plymouth Fury. Do you know what that's from, Amber? There's only one place I could be going with this, so.
I mean, I don't know which specifically. If I had to take a guess, the first guess would be Low Men in Yellow Coats, but
Christine.
yeah, no, I've never read that.
Christine is a 58 Plymouth Fury.
Christine,
Book about a car that kills people.
and the car's name is Christine.
Mm-hmm. So's the book's name. We really like that
Not
car.
the author.
So I mean that's why he keeps talking about that one car because he keeps seeing it and he just thinks.
Yeah, but they're different ones because he says like they have different plates.
Yes, because
Yeah.
he's seen it.
At first.
This most recent one is Clayton, and every town he's been in, he's seen one, and he just says the past is harmonizing. So there was one in Oklahoma. There was Johnny Clayton was Oklahoma. Somebody was Arkansas, and somebody was somewhere else. I forget what the other one was. Maine, yeah. So it's
Johnny's not from Oklahoma though. He was Florida, wasn't he?
I don't know where he's from, but his
I
car
thought it
was
was-
Oklahoma.
I'm pretty sure that was the return address on the envelope too. Was Oklahoma.
I thought
So-
he said that it's like a college kid because they had like Go Sooners in the.
They did.
And you're saying that was actually
Well, he
Johnny?
could have, maybe that was where he was locked, or maybe where he went to get help or whatever.
Maybe he stole that car. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, he basically broke out of the crazy bin and came looking for her. So-
Georgia. Oh yeah, no, I was wrong.
Georgia.
And then he does that. Well, if I hadn't have done this would happen.
Yeah, because you know so much about what you've been changing this whole time. Like I'm so over that attitude.
Amber's very upset about that.
Well, no, that's not. No, I don't mean that. Past. I don't mean butterfly stuff. I mean, he says, "What happened?" Oh, Marina knocks on his door,
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was wild.
and if she hadn't, he wouldn't have been there for the Johnny Clayton phone call
Yeah, so what would
because
have
he was walking out the door, and that's what he says. If Marina hadn't knocked on the door, I wouldn't have answered the phone, and blah blah blah. But I did,
That's true.
and I did.
And I did, yeah.
Like that's not exact word for word, but it's something like that.
This also still reminds me, like, where is Lee right now?
Well, Marina says, yeah. Where is he?
She's looking
Well, Jake.
for him. Yeah.
Jake followed him. Lee was going to.
Kill Walker.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the tent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
He
where
was
he's
set.
going.
He was
Oh,
setting up his
yeah,
little
right.
sniper nest in the trash cans.
Because
and
that's
stuff.
why Jake was leaving in the first place. He wanted to beat him there so he could check if that's where he stashed the gun behind that little fence thing.
Yeah, we didn't get to that yet. The actual. Now I'm wondering if the gun's in there. Like, could you just take it out and that would be the end of it, and then you could just take it out and then shoot Lee with it and go home, right? If the gun's in the trash can, he's the one that did it because he saw him messing with the trash cans.
Well, Jake kind of mulls that over for a while. Like, can I take that as, like, can I just end it there if I find the gun there? He does say that.
Yeah, I think
so. He is contemplating, like.
I think he can totally. If your whole argument is that the same gun that killed Walker killed Kennedy, then if he killed Walker, he killed Kennedy. Then if that gun is in the trash can outside of Walker's house, end of story.
Yes, but Jake's whole thing was like, I need to go there and make sure that he shows up alone, because if he shows up there with DeMoran shield, then he's not doing it by himself. He's co-conspiring.
Yeah, even if he does show
conspiring
up by himself,
with someone else.
that doesn't mean he did it by himself. That's a good point, actually.
That's what Jake says. Because he's like, well, actually, even if I find the gun there, it doesn't mean that Lee is going to show up there by himself. He could show up there with someone else who's helping him.
Even if he shows up by himself, it doesn't mean DeMoran shield's not helping him, or at least inciting him, if nothing else. But
but they said it was 98 or 99%.
Yeah, you'll never get 100.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's definitely inciting him, but not to actually anything specific like that. Oh, and then that's where they start talking about the communism and segregationism, and apparently Hargis, the guy that Walker's talking to, who's an idiot. They call him the hero of Anzio. Do you know who Roger Waters is, right? Pink Floyd.
Oh yeah.
He has a whole song about how his dad died in the war. Holding the Anzio Bridge was how his dad died. So I don't know. That's just Stephen King harmonizing with Pink Floyd. Well, you made it hard to read.
I'm sorry, that was shining literally right in my face. I have like spots from it, the sun, because as it's setting, it's.
Yeah, so now this is where they're talking about the whole integration, segregation, communism
thing.
Yeah, and then the way he paints it, it sounds pretty utopian. Like,
yeah,
everybody making the same money for the work. Well, I don't think that ever works, personally. That was always the argument we got. Communism doesn't work because if you're making the same, no matter how hard you work, you're not going to work hard.
Mm-hmm.
There's no incentive to do a good job, and I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think definitely some people are. I've seen it at certain spouses' jobs.
Oh yeah,
right.
It's human nature. It's behaviorism.
Sometimes, and state employees are protected by the union, and they can't. You, as a boss, you can't go up to them and say, "You're suspended if you don't start doing your job," because they go to the union, and then you get in trouble for saying that to them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's literally no repercussions for these people not do it. That's why the old joke, like, oh God, it's coming from the state. It's going to take 6 months.
Yep.
Well, that's why, because none of them have to work any faster.
Mm-hmm. And there's no competition. That's why people like capitalism, because of competition. But that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, I'm more of a Sweden socialism guy. I would take that, or Switzerland, one of them. I was confused on that. Like, pay for my car insurance, pay for my health care. I'll pay more taxes, and we'll call it good.
Yeah.
Like, pay for all my stuff. That I'm forgetting something. Pay for my needs, and then to give me less money. That would be fine.
I mean, regardless, you're spending the money, so.
Right. I'm actually saving money the way I see it, because then I don't have to pay out of pocket for all those shit. And this is like the third, at least second time in this book they've mentioned this. How do you say? Colored people have their lot in life because Noah's kid looked at him when he was naked and he was an Arab, so now they're
yeah, that whole thing is
like that's the second time they told that story to try to explain
so weird.
their stance on why, yeah, like racism's in the Bible. Like, if it is, then that's just another reason to throw that fucking book out.
You're gonna make a lot of people nervous.
Well, it's a good fantasy. It's not supposed to be taken. Yeah, it was written by a bunch of guys like you and me, who were God inspired. Right? Your invisible friend that lives in the sky.
Oh boy.
Are you a Gotti?
No, I'm just.
Gotti?
There's a lot of very controversial stuff that you just said.
Only if you're deluded. People that think about stuff know better. So I guess we're at Johnny in the end. We're close enough to it. So Jake freaks out, decides to drive to Jody. And he calls Deke. What was his plan exactly? So he calls Deke and says, basically, knock on the front door. I'm going to sneak in the back at the same time.
Deke's going to distract him so that he could
do what?
Unarm Johnny and save Sadie was my impression.
I like when yeah, well, that didn't work.
It didn't work at all because Deke messed it up.
Well, the door wasn't locked like it was supposed to be. The door was hanging open, so he just pushed it.
Yeah. If he would have knocked, it would have just been like,
yeah. So Deke just pushed it over. I can't blame him for that. And then he saw Sadie, like, holy fuck. Way to be, next time I'm picking somebody else to do this with me. You weren't any good.
Way to be subtle.
But then he's standing there. What does he say? I thought about Sadie. I thought about this. I thought about that. And he was about to fucking shoot him in the head. And she's like, no, don't do it.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know to go back at that point. But
I don't know that I could have. It's already in motion. I feel like it's so.
Yeah, then he acts like
everything happens so fast. You're just reacting without really thinking about it.
He's all thinking rationally. Oh well, if I done that, blah blah blah. No.
Especially if you love the girl, you would have. I don't know.
When you're in the heat of a moment and your loved one's life is in danger.
That's what I'm saying. There's no way you're going to be like, well, now wait a minute. Let me think about this and the repercussions.
Right. Can everybody hold on a minute? I gotta analyze the statistical analysis.
Yeah, it's not it's not realistic to me.
Yeah, I'd have probably shot him and then honestly ran back through the rabbit hole at that point.
Yeah, but then you get Sadie anyway.
You can get her.
And relive it all?
What, you didn't like it? I feel like they had a good time.
Yeah, but how do you? I don't know.
That's weird.
You just hang out with Sadie, and then you wait for Oswald to come to America. You go fucking shoot him.
I feel like he would come off desperate for her though, because he has all these memories that she doesn't have.
Oh,
so you'd be like,
too many butterflies.
Do
it exactly the way you did it the first time. Go to the party, grab her by the boob when she falls on you, and
doesn't work that
ignore
way.
her. I'll bet you would. Oh well, there's no way to know that.
It doesn't.
If he goes to the same party, she would probably stumble into it all over again. There's no reason to think he wouldn't, because everything else repeats exactly the same unless he fucked with her.
I don't know.
I do think it would work that way, but I think it's just strange. Makes me think of.
It would be damn near impossible to actually do, because you just can't do everything exactly the same.
Well, that's my point, especially when you have these feelings already solidified. I feel like you just, no matter how hard you try, you're going to act differently because you're way ahead. You've basically been in a relationship with this person for years, and they've been in a relationship with you for 2 minutes,
How long has it been? A couple months. Or has it been a month? How long have they been together?
It's definitely been over a year because he worked at the school for a year as a teacher.
And they met right before the school year started, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they're into the next school year because she went away for the summer, and then she's obviously back in school because she had that meeting with Ellie.
After I heard that Under the Dome was a week long, I don't trust any of this anymore.
It's all very suspicious.
I thought it was interesting where they said, "Of course, King will be shot."
Yeah, that kind of struck me too.
Of course, what?
Is he alluding to a different King will be shot? Dr. King, Martin Luther King.
Oh,
You're like, of course he'll be shot. It's just a matter of time. Like, wait, are we alluding to another conspiracy here? Because there's, he was supposedly a patsy too.
Oh, really?
I forget his name. Is that Sir Hans? No, this guy's got Ken. Ray, damn it. Sugar Lee Ray. That's not right.
No, I don't think.
What is his name?
Ray Lee
Charles
Charles?
Lee Ray. Charles Lee
yeah.
Ray. Is that right?
It's one of those combinations, yeah.
Oh, she's looking at it.
Yeah, I'm James Earl Ray.
That was close.
Damn it.
Who's Charles Lee Ray? Oh, I think he was.
It's
the
a
clock
serial
tower
killer.
dude. Yeah, he was the clock tower guy in Texas, right?
I think so.
Sure.
He climbed like a clock tower, like 300 feet in the air, and just started shooting people in the plaza.
Jeez.
Yeah, he's like the first modern serial killer, unless you count H.H. Holmes as modern. I don't see that movie.
I do.
Why have they made his movie, man? That would be so awesome. I need to send my script into somebody.
Okay. Where are we at?
What, are you hating on H.H. Holmes now?
No. I just am trying to stay
You
on.
should be.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Well, I mean,
I missed that part of the book.
just don't stay at his house at night.
Who?
Yeah,
AJ?
Yeah.
No way you can defend him.
I was me?
Not you, no.
Oh, I was like, I wasn't trying to. I don't even know who you're
you.
talking about.
All right, so I'm at the trash cans. I like how Sadie tells Ellie, "Don't ask, don't tell." So she's starting to say the shit that Jake says now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's from Clinton.
I thought it was funny that they talk about the desert rose too.
What did they say?
They.
The second time somebody was threatening to kill himself over a woman and then
Yeah.
Like, was that the whole point in that scene, like 400 pages ago?
The
Like,
harmonizing of the I don't know. Maybe.
like that's one of those things where he just makes it up as he goes. It's like, oh yeah, that was kind of like that. So
Yeah.
he was just, it's just like, well, he's talking about how bad Dallas is, and he's trying to reinforce that Dallas sucks. But maybe there's more to it.
So here's something I wrote down that I wanted to talk to you guys about. I feel like there's this huge, and this is backtracking slightly, but I feel like there's this huge ethical dilemma of, do you continue to pursue Lee Harvey Oswald for the better and greater good, or do you leave and save Sadie, who you personally are in love with? I feel like that is such a big dilemma, and I was trying to think about what I would do, and I don't know.
I know. Like, fuck the world. I love one.
Yeah, I didn't really see it as he owes
a little bit.
I didn't see it as he owes the world, though.
I would feel more guilty if I let my wife die.
Yeah.
And there's always, this isn't that big of an ethical dilemma because it hasn't happened yet. He still technically got till November, and this is April, like beginning of April.
That's kind of what my thought was.
That's also true, yeah.
I feel like I would have to go with my loved one, especially because I'm like, well, it's not like he's killing Kennedy now. I'll deal with that later.
If this was 11/22/63,
but he is still killing somebody.
This was 11/22/63, and it was the day of, and if he went to save her, he wasn't going to get a chance. That's an ethical dilemma. Like, that's a big one.
Yeah.
And at that point, you might have to. I can't think rationally.
See, when he said that
I would just
he considered, he said that he considered like letting Sadie die or whatever he said, like I had a brief flash of Roland and like what happened with Jake, because I'm just like, it's not nearly that level, because I understand he's trying to prevent the assassination of JFK versus trying to get to the tower, but it's like he would have let her die for the sake of his quest, and I'm like, no, Jake wouldn't. Our wait, this Jake wouldn't do that. Not that the other Jake would, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think we all know what Roland would do, so that's not even.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I just want to make sure that I was messing around. I always you guys always make me think that I forgot a part of the story.
Oh, I forgot to
and
say
you're
from the Dark
actually
Tower. Sorry.
referencing a whole different
Right.
book that he wrote.
Hashtag Dark Tower. Yeah, I mean, we'll get to that. You got to read it first, though, so it's going to be a while. And we're going to be on the tower for probably years. The way we're every 2 weeks.
Well, couldn't we technically do more than that, though? Because I'm the only one who really has to read it. You guys have already read them.
I've already read this. This is my
It's
first
not
time.
the same though.
Yeah, I mean, if we'll talk about it. I mean, we've also both read it, so we're just waiting on you. I mean, I know you're going to tear through that because you read fast and it's an awesome book. So,
Me?
yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it's all about time. If we can do it every week, then.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you guys don't have to actually read it and you're just waiting on me, I can tear through it and we can get through this.
Yeah, but I'm not going to go into it on memory either. I at least need to refresh.
Yeah, but you don't have to read the whole thing.
Well,
so we could potentially do it.
So, 2 comments. I do want to read it, and I can't do it every week.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and
I tried.
We'll talk when we get to the tower.
I mean, I could always, I don't know. I'm trying to think of ways I can catch up so I can participate in the conversation.
I don't want you. No, we
You'll be fine. I mean, that was just one thought I had when we were talking about what choice do you make. Just yeah.
I think you guys reference it a lot more than you realize that you do, though.
Oh,
well,
back to the tower at some point.
But that's the point I'm making. You're like, oh, you don't have to rush. I'm like, yeah, but I'm lost. So
I mean, we could just do that next, because like Amber said, you can read that without reading it. I would say they're like cousins. They're not.
Yeah.
Could we just do one podcast on the whole book?
The first one, we probably could.
The Gunslinger.
Dark Tower. Oh, okay.
The second one.
I mean, do we have to break it up as much as this one is?
No, I was just trying to do that to be easy. I mean, that's hell, I could do it section by section. I wanted to do that. I was trying to make it. Well, I was trying not to overload it.
Yeah, it would be super. That's what I'm saying. Could we condense it and make it?
Okay. Why don't we finish this first?
Yeah. Let's. Sorry.
Yeah.
Circling back. So, I don't know what you were talking about because you were talking about the Gunslinger.
Clayton.
I was just saying the choice. He had to make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not really, like you said, it's not that much of a choice because he has time for the other one. So.
Well, that's kind of what made my decision in the end. That's exactly what I was saying. At the end of the day, the only reason that I felt like I could make a decision on that ethical dilemma is because I was like, well, it's not Kennedy, so. But if it was, I feel like it would have been way harder.
When you're dealing with a lunatic, like she says, if you come, we're both just going to die. It's not like
exactly.
It's not like he's actually going to let one of them live. He's
and
got
that's
a plan.
my thing. That's why I'm like, what do you do?
Right,
that's such an ethical dilemma.
At that point, she's probably going to die no matter what you do. So, you know.
But she doesn't. But
you don't. But probably.
See, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know. It would have to depend on the more I think about it, the more.
It gets interesting though because it's like you don't want to let her die, but the whole reason you're there has nothing to do with her. She wasn't supposed to be part of this in the first place.
Exactly, but love conquers all. So that's what I'm saying. That's why it's such an ethical dilemma. There's so much back and forth about
Except
it.
It doesn't.
It does not.
It doesn't conquer secrets. What does she say? Love conquers all, except it doesn't. It doesn't cover secrets. Something like that. She's talking about the broom, so it doesn't cover it all. Conquer.
Well, that's her opinion.
Well, that's the book I'm reading.
What?
I think it's fair to say you can't have love without trust, though.
I think the two are. To me, it's the same thing. You can't have one without the other.
I agree.
There's no love without trust. Otherwise, it's just control. be the behavior that would be exhibited if you tried to have love without trust. Would be a controlling behavior because you don't trust.
Mhm.
So where are you going? What are you doing? Why are you doing that? When are you coming back?
But yeah, that kind of popped into my head because
She's kind of sacrificed either way at this point, the way I'm seeing it. I might just have to. I just might call Deke and be like, hey, go over there and see what's going on, and you might die. But you're in your 60s, so you already lived
he
your
goes
life.
over that. That's literally what he says. He's like, well, I felt bad so I had to involve him, but at the same time, he already lived his life. Like, what?
Well, I thought he was in his 80s when he said that, and then he
He
said
just like
something about
didn't even care.
she got me out of retirement in my 60s. I'm like, wait, he's talking about this guy lived his life in his 60s. That's how old Stephen King was at that point. You're like the same age, and he's talking about your life. Yeah, your life is over. You're in your 60s.
Yeah, like no, I think that you just love Sadie, so you're making up stuff to like make yourself feel better, like explain it away. I mean, people didn't live as long then, so like that is.
I think Jake's very good at relationships.
It was just
He never was.
Interesting.
Much of a crying man.
Yeah, he wasn't. You are right about that.
Why did Christy leave him? Did they ever say? Because
They
of
broke
that,
up
right?
because of the alcoholism.
I
Was
thought
my
she
understanding.
was like saying he was an emotional robot.
Yeah, that too. But I think he didn't really do much. Like, I think they both kind of were like over it. Like, she's like, well, you don't have any emotions. And he's like, well, you're an alcoholic. So,
Right? It's not personal. I throw something in the bathtub.
yeah, like, I'm kind of over dealing with you. And she's like, well,
Maybe
it's all your fault. You drove me to drinking.
Maybe his dealing with her was an overreaction.
Emotional. Like, I feel like it was both of them. But anyway.
I kind of feel, if he's throwing me in the bathtub every time she comes home drunk, I kind of feel her point. Like, dude, stop. And I wonder if Stephen King was the one getting thrown in the bathtub, because it seems like he really knows what he's talking about and all that.
You good over there?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then Clayton goes from trying to kill them to killing himself. Okay,
Yeah.
well, Deke just says, holy shit, Sadie, and then Clayton looks at him, and then Deke he does something, and then he throws the casserole dish, and then Jake grabs him, and then he slaps him again, and then punches him in the face. This is for Sadie. This is for
the broom. And this is for me.
If you had never had that goddamn broom, I wouldn't have had any fucking problem.
Some broom. Damn it.
She would have her scar the same place as Bobby Jill because the past harmonized.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. But they said it was worse.
Yeah, I'm wondering how that's going to turn out.
I don't see how that's the past harmonizing. It's just the same, somebody else getting cut in the face. Like, stop using that expression.
Well,
that is why I wrote it down. I was like, did anyone else notice this? He's like obsessed with saying this too.
Well,
yeah.
How many people do you know that got slashed in the face? Because he now knows too.
One was a car accident. She didn't get slashed in the face. She got
slashed with the glass.
Yeah.
Not intentional, but the end result was the same. So
yeah, but
I think it's a little bit of
Johnny was intentional. I think he purposefully did it to her face because he's like, you're a whore, like you deserve to be marked where everyone can see it. Like that was my opinion.
Yeah, it was definitely intentional.
But that's what I'm saying. So like one was an accident, but the other one was intentional. Yeah, but it's not like they both like fell and got sliced at the same spot.
Harmonizer doesn't mean it's exactly the same. It means
that's my problem with this stupid phrase. Is it's like only 10% of this has to be the same, and it's not a coincidence.
You'll be happy to know that not only does it have harmonize, but it's opera.
It is. It's after it also, and it harmonizes.
I think it was a weird jump that he went over there all murderous intent, and all he did was end up killing himself. Like as soon as he got caught, he turned into a sniveling little weasel, which is who I always thought he was.
Well, yeah, that's kind of how they described him.
That didn't surprise me at all. I think it was like,
What surprised
I'm
me that
so angry and then he's like, oh, crap, you caught it. Like,
yeah, you can't hit me. I have papers.
yeah. He's like,
That was
I'm
funny.
completely insane, so you cannot arrest me or kill me or say anything to
You want to
me.
guarantee you get hit in the face? Tell someone that they can't do it.
Right. What?
Especially when they're mad and they're about to shoot you.
He was just wild. Like, the whole thing.
But he went from murder
wild.
to suicide. I don't know. I guess when the jig was up,
It's not abnormal.
yeah, I guess when he figured the jig was up, he's like, all right, I'm out. Like,
Yeah.
I tried, it didn't work. I'm not going to jail. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's where I'm
for
going
me,
now.
that wasn't weird. I mean, it definitely was a pivot, but it was based on circumstances.
Well, he did say the exact same thing. What did the guy say? Is this what you want to Lorraine, Loretta, L something, Lorna at the Desert Road? He said, is this what you want?
Oh, I don't remember.
It's the exact same
I'll
phrase.
give you what you want.
Yeah.
The last part kind of creeped me out. Grinning desperately. Why are you grinning when you're about to kill yourself?
Because he's showing her. He's doing it for her.
I don't know. I feel like that just solidifies that he's a little weird.
You think? What,
Yeah.
that's what did it for you? The grinning desperately? Not anything else.
No, just
Okay. The end of part 2. Part 5 is what's part 5?
I'm excited to know what happens next. Like, what happens to Sadie? What happens to Jake? How does he end up coming back around to figure out the Oswald thing now that he like totally missed that whole trying to figure it out before it actually happens thing?
Who Amber, who's Zelda? Is that Rachel's sister? Is that her
Yeah.
name?
Yes.
We talked about that, right? The book is dedicated to the book is dedicated to Zelda. I'm not sure.
I don't think
I
we
don't
did
know.
talk about that.
I think I'm reading too much in that. It says, "Hey, honey, welcome to the party."
Yeah.
Probably some real person. It actually means nothing that I'm thinking it means. 575 to 749. You want to do that at once? There's going to be a lot to talk about in part 5. Like, that's when everything happens.
That's when everything happens.
That's when everything that
matters.
What have we been reading this whole time?
that's when all the different things come to a climax.
Oh my god, I totally forgot about. We talked about the last part already.
The
If
green
that's the
card?
last part, yeah.
Well, it's the what do you mean if that's the last part?
I was just checking. That is the last part. Yeah, I forgot that we talked about that. That comes back.